I was brushing my teeth in the small upstairs bathroom, the mirror fogged from the hot shower I'd taken a few minutes earlier. It was the only place in the house where I could breathe, even for 2 minutes. My sister, Alyssa, 24, had already spent the morning stomping around the hallway, slamming doors like she owned the entire house. I had stayed quiet, like always. Quiet meant survival. My parents were downstairs drinking coffee and pretending not to notice the tension that crackled through the walls. Every step I took in that house felt watched, judged, ranked against Alyssa's existence. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. I leaned closer to the sink, brushing gently because I didn't want the faucet to drip too loudly and annoy anyone. That's how conditioned I was. Then I saw it in the mirror. Alyssa's reflection appearing behind me. She was smiling that crooked smile she saved only for me, the kind that made my stomach twist. "What are you doing?" she asked. Her tone made even brushing my teeth sound like a crime. "I'm brushing my teeth," I mumbled. She stepped closer, arms crossed. "You take too long. You're disgusting. Get out!" I spat into the sink, reaching to rinse my mouth. "I'll be done in a second." Her hand shot forward and slammed the bathroom door shut. The sound echoed around us. "I said, get out!" I backed up, toothbrush still in my hand. "Alyssa, give me a second." She grabbed me by the back of my hair, so roughly my neck bent backward. "Don't talk back. You don't talk back to me." Her breath hit my cheek. Sweet perfume mixed with venom. I tried to twist away, but she dug her nails into my scalp. "You think you're better than me now?" she hissed. "Walking around here like you're not a burden?" My heartbeat thudded against my ribs. "I'm not—" But the rest of the sentence never left my mouth. A sudden force yanked my head forward and— crack! My face smashed into the cold porcelain sink. A flash of white pain shot across my forehead and nose. The toothbrush fell from my hand and clattered onto the tile. The shock made my knees buckle. My hands scrambled for the counter, trying to keep myself upright. Before I could even catch breath, she did it again. Thud. My cheekbone hit the rim of the sink. My teeth rattled inside my skull. I heard a sharp gasp. But it wasn't mine. It was my parents'. I didn't even know they were standing in the doorway until I turned blurry eyes toward them. My mom had her arms crossed. My dad leaned on the doorframe like he was watching a TV show he wasn't impressed with. I whispered, "Dad, please." He smirked. "At least now your face matches your worth." My stomach dropped. The room tilted. For a moment I couldn't hear anything except blood rushing in my ears. Alyssa looked back at him like she wanted approval. He nodded at her. "Good. Teach her. She doesn't listen." Mom stepped closer, her voice dripping with disgust. "You make everything difficult. Why do you always provoke your sister? Look what you made her do." I tasted blood in the back of my throat. I hadn't even spoken. Alyssa shoved me once more, her hand slamming into my shoulder so hard I hit the bathroom counter. "Clean up your mess," she snapped. "You're dripping everywhere." I looked down. A small smear of red had stained the sink. Dad sighed loudly. "Pathetic. Always bleeding, always crying. Be useful or stay out of sight." They walked away, just like that, leaving me to cradle my face over the sink as tears mixed with toothpaste and blood. Alyssa slammed the bathroom door behind her. I leaned over the counter, shaking so badly I couldn't stand straight. My reflection looked back at me. A red mark spreading over my cheek, a small cut by my eye, humiliation etched into every line of my face. For a long moment I stayed there, frozen, silent, trying to breathe through the humiliation that sat in my chest like a stone. Then I heard footsteps, light ones, small ones. My daughter, Harper, 6 years old, peeked around the corner. Her tiny voice broke something inside me. "Mommy, did Aunt Alyssa hurt you again?" Again. That word told me everything. She'd seen more than I ever wanted her to see. She'd learned fear in a house that wasn't supposed to teach her fear. She walked toward me slowly, holding her little stuffed bear against her chest. "Mommy, your face. It's red." I knelt down. She touched my cheek so gently it made my breath catch. "I'm okay," I whispered. But the truth was, I wasn't. She tilted her head, eyes big with worry. I heard Grandpa laugh. Why did he laugh? I couldn't answer. I couldn't explain cruelty to a child. All I could do was pull her into my arms, her tiny body soft against mine. She hugged me tightly. "I don't like it here," she said. "Can we go home?" Those 4 words hit me harder than Alyssa's hands ever could. Can we go home? Home. I had never built one. I had only survived in other people's houses. But in that moment, I realized something. I needed to build something for my child that wasn't soaked in fear, because if I didn't, Harper would grow up thinking this was normal, thinking pain was normal, thinking cruelty was normal. I kissed her hair and stood up slowly, still holding her hand. The pain in my face throbbed with every heartbeat. But inside my chest, something else had started to beat too. A cold, steady determination. This wasn't just about me anymore. It never had been. My breaking point stood right in front of me, 6 years old, holding a stuffed bear. I wiped my face, held her tighter, and whispered, "We're leaving, I promise." But what I didn't say out loud was the truth forming in my mind. Leaving was only the beginning. They were going to learn what it felt like to be powerless. I spent the rest of that day hiding in the small guest room my parents only let me use because Harper needs somewhere to sleep. They never said I needed anywhere. Only Harper. Like I was an accessory she dragged around. My cheekbone throbbed every time I blinked. The bruise was blooming fast, deep purple spreading under the skin, making it look even worse than it felt. Harper sat beside me, holding my hand with her tiny fingers wrapped around mine like she was trying to keep me from disappearing. She whispered, "Do we have to stay here tonight?" Her eyes were big, scared, searching my face for an answer I didn't have yet. I smoothed her hair. "No, baby, we'll leave soon." I meant it, but leaving wasn't simple. I didn't have savings. I didn't have a car. My job barely covered childcare and groceries, and I was stuck here because I had nowhere else to go. A knock rattled the door. I stiffened. Harper squeezed my hand tighter. Mom didn't wait for permission. She opened the door with the same entitlement she used for everything. Her eyes landed on my swollen cheek. She clicked her tongue in disgust. "Why are you moping?" she asked. "It wasn't that bad. Alyssa barely touched you." I stared at her. She smashed my face into the sink. Mom brushed imaginary dust off her blouse. "And? She was teaching you respect, something you never learned." Harper moved closer to me. Mom's eyes narrowed at her. "Go play in the hallway. Adults are talking." Harper whispered, "I want to stay with Mommy." Mom snapped, "Don't make her soft. It's embarrassing." My stomach tightened. My arms curled protectively around Harper before I even realized I was doing it. "Whatever," Mom muttered. She waved her hand, irritated. "Your father wants you downstairs. Now." I didn't move. "Why?" "Don't question me," she snapped. "Just go." I stood slowly, keeping Harper close. My cheeks screamed with every heartbeat. My vision blurred when I bent down. We walked downstairs together. Dad was sitting at the dining table scrolling through his phone. Alyssa sat across from him, eating a bowl of cereal like she hadn't almost broken my face. Dad didn't look up when we entered. "Sit." I didn't. I stayed near the doorway. He sighed dramatically. "See what I mean? You provoke people. You make everything difficult. If you listened the first time, Alyssa wouldn't have had to discipline you." Alyssa smirked. "Maybe next time she'll learn." My jaw clenched so hard it hurt. But Dad wasn't finished. He put his phone down and leaned back in his chair. "You owe this family a lot. We put a roof over your head. We feed your kid. You don't get to act like a victim." A roof I was constantly threatened with. Food I was told not to eat. Help that wasn't help. It was control. Dad pointed at me. So here's how it's gonna work. From now on, you clean the house every morning before work, and take Alyssa to her job when she needs a ride. I blinked. What? I don't have a car. Dad glared. Use the bus and pay for both of you. Stop complaining. You're lucky we let you stay here. Alyssa flipped her hair and added, and I want my room back. I'm tired of sharing the bathroom with her. Her stuff is always everywhere. It's one toothbrush, I said quietly. Alyssa stood from her chair, eyes burning. You want to try me again? Harper grabbed my hand, her tiny fingers shaking. Dad stood too, pointing at me like I was a disobedient dog. Get out of my sight. I can't even look at you. I turned to leave, but he added, and don't forget to put ice on that ugly face. You look worse than usual. Alyssa laughed. Mom laughed too. The sound followed me up the stairs like a shadow. In the room, I held Harper in my arms and cried silently into her hair. Not from the pain in my cheek, not from the humiliation, from the realization that I had allowed my daughter to grow up in the same house that destroyed me. I whispered, We're leaving tomorrow. Harper nodded like she'd been waiting her whole life to hear that. But I knew leaving wasn't enough. They had power, they had money, they had connections, they had stories they loved to spread about me. Lazy, ungrateful, dramatic. If I left quietly, they'd twist the narrative. They'd say, I ran off. They'd make sure I couldn't get help. They'd hurt someone else. Maybe even Harper, if I ever had to return. I needed to cut them off in a way that stuck, a way that made sure they couldn't spin it, a way that hit them where it mattered. And the opportunity came faster than I expected. Because that night, after Harper fell asleep, I heard Dad on the phone through the thin walls. He wasn't whispering. He wasn't hiding anything. He was bragging. Yeah, I roughed her up a little. She needs it. She's useless. Alyssa taught her a lesson. Kids saw it too. Good. Maybe she'll stop crying all the time. A pause. Then, don't worry. She's not going anywhere. She has no money, no friends. She'll stay here whether she likes it or not. My breath froze in my chest. Then the punchline. And if she tries anything, I'll tell everyone she hit herself. People believe me. They always do. My blood ran cold. Always. He always won. He always twisted everything. He made me look insane every time I tried to speak up. But this time he'd said it loud enough for my phone to pick it up. Because I had been recording, not on purpose. I had opened my voice notes earlier while calming Harper, and it never stopped. For the first time in my life, I had proof, and I knew exactly what I would do with it. Tomorrow, my revenge would begin, not with anger, not with violence, not with silence, with evidence. Real, undeniable evidence that would take away the one thing my parents cherished more than anything, their image, their control, their power over me. The next morning, I woke up before the sun. My cheekbone was swollen, my lip was split, and my eyes looked hollow from a night of thinking instead of sleeping. But inside me, something new was burning. Steady, cold, controlled. I packed quietly while Harper slept. Clothes, her school bag, her drawings, her favorite blanket. Everything we owned that they hadn't broken or thrown away. When Harper opened her eyes, she whispered, Are we leaving today? Yes, I said, and we're not coming back. Harper didn't smile. She just hugged me like she was hugging freedom itself. I waited until 7 a.m. because that's when Dad sat outside with coffee, scrolling through his phone like a king surveying his kingdom. I stepped onto the porch with Harper behind me. Dad didn't even look up. Oh, look, he snorted. The bruise matches your personality, dark and pathetic. I didn't react. I handed him a sealed envelope. What's this? He asked, annoyed. The truth, I said. He ripped it open dramatically, expecting a plea for forgiveness or money. Instead, he found a USB drive and a printed transcript. His eyes skimmed the first lines, then the next, then the next. His jaw slowly unhinged. It was his own voice. Every word he spewed last night, transcribed. Word for word. He froze. What? What the hell is this? He snapped. A recording, I said calmly. Everything you bragged about, everything you admitted, your threats, your lies, you talking about hurting me, you saying you'd frame me, all of it. He stood up so fast the chair slammed backward. You recorded me, you little... I stepped back, holding Harper behind me. I didn't have to try, I said. You talk loud. Mom stormed out of the door, hair messy, face red from sleep. What's going on? I looked straight at her. You always said no one would believe me. But they'll believe him, in his own voice. Mom snatched the transcript from Dad's hand. Her eyes widened as she read. Oh my God, she breathed. Alyssa appeared behind them, chewing gum like she wasn't part of anything. What's the drama now? She snapped. I turned to her with a smile that wasn't a smile. Your part's in here too. Dad bragging that you taught me a lesson. His words, not mine. Alyssa's gum fell out of her mouth. Dad suddenly dropped his arrogance. His voice cracked. You're not going to the police with this. I tilted my head. I already did. The color drained from his face. You did what? I didn't blink. I sent the recording to the police station at 6 a.m. and to a lawyer, and to Child Protective Services. Mom clutched her chest like she'd been stabbed. You called CPS? On us? For hurting me? For hurting Harper? For endangering a child? I stepped forward, voice sharpened. Yes, I did. Dad pointed at me with a shaking hand. You don't understand what you've done. You'll ruin... Your reputation? I cut in. That's the point. Alyssa lunged forward, furious. You're insane! I didn't move. Try hitting me again. Now that your dad's confession is on file, let's see how fast you go to jail. Alyssa froze. Really froze. For the first time in her life, fear flickered across her face. Mom grabbed Dad's arm. Her voice shook. Tell her to delete it. Tell her now! Dad looked at me, eyes filled with something that almost looked like dread. You listen to me, he whispered. If you don't fix this, I'm done fixing anything, I said. You broke me. You hurt my kid. You treated me like garbage. And now there's a record of every disgusting thing you said. Mom's voice trembled. You're going to destroy this family. I nodded slowly. I know. Dad looked around like he expected someone to save him. Where are you even going? He asked. Away, I said. Somewhere safe. Somewhere you'll never have access to us again. He scoffed weakly. You can't do that. I already did. I handed him one last paper. A printed temporary restraining order. Signed, stamped, approved. Dad's mouth fell open. You filed for a TRO against your own parents? I protected my daughter, I said. Alyssa choked. Did they actually approve it? They listened to the recording, I replied. They approved it in 45 minutes. Mom stumbled back like the air had been punched out of her lungs. Dad tried one last threat. You think you won? You haven't... I stepped down the porch stairs and interrupted him. Check the mailbox, I said. Your copies of the TRO should be arriving today. Mom screamed. Alyssa swore. Dad went dead silent. Their kingdom collapsed right there on the porch. Harper held my hand tighter as we walked away. Down the driveway, past their car, past the house where I lost myself for years. Mom yelled after us, You can't just leave and take everything with you. I turned around just once. You never gave me anything to take. Mom's face crumpled. Dad's shoulders sagged. Alyssa looked like she'd been slapped. I didn't slow down. 3 months later, I got a letter from the court. Their TRO had been extended for a full year. CPS had launched an investigation. Dad was suspended from his job. Mom lost her volunteer position. Alyssa moved out because the house had become too stressful. They all tried contacting me through relatives, neighbors, even old classmates. I didn't answer, not once. My peace was the final revenge, but not a silent one, a legal one, a documented one, a permanent one, the kind they couldn't twist, the kind they couldn't rewrite, the kind they couldn't escape. I built a new life, a safer one, a happier one. And the last thing they ever heard from me was the moment I said goodbye. You always taught me I was worthless. Now you finally understand what happens when someone worthless leaves. Because without someone to hurt, they had nothing left. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.